So many people get stuck with content, with getting put into this box and having challenging times actually evolving and reinventing themselves. And on this video, I want to show you how you can use AI and ChatGPT to continue to grow, to continue to reinvent yourself and not get stuck, especially as a content creator. And excited to share this information with you. What's up, guys? My name is Nico Rapklis. I've been a content creator, business owner for over 10 years, doing this all online. And in the last few years, we've been building out an AI system that really help you grow yourself called Vision Espresso. It's really powerful. And I want to talk on this video about this conversation that I had yesterday in my mastermind group with two other CEOs of big corporations that have become friends over the last couple of years. And I want to talk about something I think is really, really important because of the fact that so many people have this particular challenge of getting so boxed into their growth and like having to fit into this mold. I mean, I have friends that have millions and millions of followers and they feel stuck. They can't expand outside of, this box that the algorithm has put them in. And I think it's a conversation worth being had. So I want to share with you actually how I do this a lot of the time. So coming here to ChatGPT, and then I want to show you how I did it. I want to explain it a little bit, and then I also want to bring in all the lessons that came through. So I will always use the voice thing right here, the little transcription. I'll tell it, hey, here's what's going on. I give it as much context as possible. So basically what I did is I recorded our mastermind. Okay, it was about a 2-hour mastermind. I record it on my iPhone. And then from there, I can copy the transcript. I copy the transcript from my voice memos, and then I give chat a little bit of context and say, yo, I just had a mastermind with some friends. I want you to give me a summary, a breakdown, key lessons, maybe even break it down in story format, metaphors, 5-year-old language. I always love doing that. I do that on my Bible stacks. I'll probably share some more of my Bible stacks as we continue on this channel. So obviously subscribe if you'd like to see that kind of stuff and more of these conversations with AI. I think that's something that's just helped me significantly, and everybody I share my conversations with, they get a lot out of it. So anyways, I share that context to it, say, hey, I'm going to drop this transcript, and then it says, hey, clear summary, emotional arc, key insights, story format, 5-year-old language, action steps, and a tiny reflection. So as you can see, I loaded in, and this was all on my phone. So I just copied it on my phone, pasted it in there. I did this all via my phone, and then you can see it was quite a transcript. But the reason I like to do that is it gives it as much context as possible, and that's really, really important for AI, for ChatGPT. So as you can see, it came through, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. But before I dive into that, I really want to just hammer home this fact. Again, as I mentioned before, I've friends colleagues. My girlfriend's has friends that they started in the fitness space and they grew a huge following, millions of followers, and that's amazing, right? And you have a following now. But we were talking about in this mastermind is the people that really succeed and the people that continue to grow and the people that continue to have a lot of fulfillment and make a lot of money at the same time with content, or just their brand as a whole. Doesn't have to just be content, but those are the people that really, I think, have it figured out. There's some people that I look up to and hold in high regard. That is one of the biggest things. An artist that I listened to for the longest time, he was kind of like this frat rapper, and I resonated with that at a certain point. And that was his thing for a certain point because that was what was authentic to him. But then after a while, that wasn't authentic to him. So he kept evolving, and he turned into a different identity, and he continued to evolve, and he continued to reinvent himself, which is really, really important, right? Because if he would have just stayed in that box, then it would have just been inauthentic. And I think the thing that I'm noticing more and more every single day, and that's even kind of why I wanted to make this video as a whole, is I wanted to continue to share this stuff and be authentic to me, because I know I've gone through transitions. And sometimes, here's the thing, is with the algorithm, it kind of boxes you in algorithmically, because it's if you're a fitness influencer and then you start wanting to break out of that fitness influencer and you want to be a spiritual mentor or whatever, the algorithm kind of is oh, no, that's not your box. Stay in your box. And you keep trying to go out of your box, and it keeps on pulling you back because you get so much more little engagement and views. Even I have a friend that, he's running a multi-8-figure company, and, their Instagram, it's largely a memes page, and that's how they get a ton of traction. And he realized like that wasn't the identity he wanted to continue to stay in. Like, even though that's what succeeded well for him, it just like it felt misaligned with him. And so he wanted to shift more towards like content that really resonated with him. And he started doing that, and like he went from getting thousands of likes on a post, which then equated into a lot of business. And then he's getting like 17 likes on this new content. And so it's not an easy thing, but it's why it's so important to stay true to who you are. And one of the biggest things that we talked about yesterday as well is like that's the key. And that's why it's so important to have the long-term vision. It's okay, maybe we're not having the success that we want right now, but as we continue to mold and adapt and re-evolve exactly what we are creating, it's going to evolve. Because I even had a conversation, and I'll probably bring this back at some point. I think I actually made this on one of my last YouTube videos, I'm actually certain, talking about how you can mold and adapt your content. But it comes over time. You're not just going to make a shift right away and all of a sudden it's going to be like, boom, like my friend I was just telling you about. He's got to continue to teach the algorithm this is where we're going, because that's what I was even talking about with this musician. It wasn't just like a one-time shift and then boom, all of a sudden it like cranked that way. He had to continue to evolve. And he was even talking about how he was getting frustrated with the algorithm too. So it's like you have to have a vision, you have to have long-term thinking, and know it's going to come over time. And that's why we're so big on vision, right? We talk about this all the time on this channel. As you probably know, maybe you haven't seen this because we actually haven't even fully released this, but I'll give you a quick little snippet. This is our app. It's called Vision Espresso. And it's completely designed to help you really understand your vision and get clear on your vision, and then embody that vision and get it deep into your subconscious and your nervous system. And so we have several different things in here. Don't worry about too much of these stats and everything. But we have the audio library. These are like templated audios, but then if you go through the full thing, or at least the 7-day shot, you can get your own Vision Espresso audio that's from your future self, that's in your voice. It's really powerful. And we start everyone on the Vision quiz. And if you want to go check that out, just go to visionespresso.co/quiz. This is the page, and then you can start getting going on the app, right? But that's why it's so important to have the vision, know exactly where you're going. Maybe like you're having these hiccups right now, and I've experienced that too. I've just countless amount of friends. Like I have a friend that she's big on an affiliate marketing. When she started out and she was selling and make money online products, and then realized that like that wasn't the direction she wanted to go. So then she started breaking out of that, and the algorithm kept pushing her back. So it's, again, you gotta have the vision, you gotta mold over time. And that's really what, our conversation we had yesterday. And I'll give you kind of like the essence and the high level summary of what we were talking about of this group of 3 CEOs. So leadership as identity shifts, business expansion versus restructuring, trust, loyalty, and power dynamics, how to grow without losing integrity. And that was like the biggest thing, is like how to grow without losing integrity so that we can stay true to who we really are. Relationships and emotional intimacy deepening. We're talking about some of our relationships, and reconnecting to your heart over your mind. Because if you're just thinking about this stuff over and over and you're trying to fix it with your mind, it's not gonna work. And I'll give you this. I won't include any names, but a prominent company in the personal development space, if not like the leader in the personal development space in some regards. I had a conversation. We were talking about a potential joint venture partnership. And it was so interesting because like this guy, CEO of one of the biggest personal development companies out there. And I would say we were kind of butting heads on the way we were looking at things. And I could just sense he was stuck in this box. And again, I'm talking about content on this video, but like this relates to business as a whole. Like think about Blockbuster, right? If you've heard that story, Netflix went into Blockbuster at one point, pitched them their idea. Blockbuster laughed them out of their room, and then obviously Netflix went on to become Netflix. And the irony of it all is that Blockbuster went out of business, and then there was a documentary on Netflix that had the story all about that experience. Right. And so the irony of that, but here's the lesson in that, is that Blockbuster wouldn't innovate. It wouldn't reinvent itself. It wouldn't evolve with the marketplace. And that's what I was even seeing with this person I'm talking about, is like he wanted to keep things the same. Everything has to be the same. And I could even sense, but I didn't even say anything about, like, he was talking about like, well, this is how you have to do it because this is how it always is. And, you know, with our company, Vision Espresso, we're at the top of like evolving the personal development space. So I think there was just a little bit of clashing there. And, you know, he even brought it up. He's like, this isn't fear. This isn't scarcity. This is just how it is. I didn't even bring anything of that up. I didn't say fear or scarcity. And he brought that up. So it's like sensing in him. So it's like, I truly believe that the resistance to evolving and reinventing yourself and breaking through these old identities, it's going to naturally contract you. It's naturally going to have more, it's going to put more fear in you, and it's going to put more scarcity in you. And that's not going to help at all, right? Because once you have that deeply embedded into yourself, then it's going to be really tough to reinvent yourself, grow, evolve. And that's what I've seen with a lot of these influencers. A lot of these people are like, I can't change because I'm getting all these views. It's paying my bills. It's providing resources to my team. I can't get away from this because it's my livelihood. But you know, you have to risk it for the biscuit, right? You have to go for it. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck. And that's what I've seen. Even, again, these people have millions of followers. It's crazy. So let's run through the rest of these themes. So main themes: integrity and leadership roles. When leadership decisions don't feel clean, the body knows immediately. And our minds and our hearts and our bodies are ultimately our subconscious mind, and it knows right away. So far before the mind even knows. So really continue to tend to, you know, what your body's saying. Recruiting and retention as emotional safety. Teams stay when they feel held, seen, and growing. And so again, I come back to the conversation I had with this guy. Like, I'm sure his team is feeling it too. Like, if he's not willing to like break through it, his team is not going to be staying as much if they're not feeling seen, held, and growing. And I think like this whole conversation about war mentality versus creator mentality is like, you're, as a creator, what is a creator? You're continuing to create. You're not just like staying in this box and creating from this. You're continuing to create and evolve. And that's like this war mentality where it's like, we got to win, like we can't change, this is how it is, versus the creator mentality, which is the constant involvement and grow, right? And then content and identity, and knowing that like you're gonna evolve. You should be evolving. And again, that's why it's so important to continue to set the vision of where you're going and what you're becoming, and embed that into your subconscious and your nervous system. That's why we're so big on Vision Espresso. Okay, because you're always going to be growing, and if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And that it's amplified online with content, because now you're like solidifying it because you're speaking it out, and then there's an audience that's keeping you accountable to that, right? And then relationships and heart presence. It's really what I've been talking about this whole thing. So obviously, like, this came down in the story format. Just helps us kind of understand it a little bit deeper. 5-year-old language, I always love coming back to that because it just like simplifies things a lot more. But yeah, really the integrity is not felt, it's resonated. So you can't just like explain yourself to resonance with your team, with your audience. People are just going to notice like you feel off. And I've done that, right? I hired a coach recently where I was noticing like I was feeling off, and I couldn't just keep going the way I was because I could feel it, and I know like my audience and people feel it. And that's why I took a bit of a break here on YouTube. Don't build culture from fear of loss. Don't create content from insecurity. Slow down enough to hear your heart. Give yourself space. That's why it's so important to meditate. And that's, again, Vision Espresso gives you a space to really think about that, get clear on your vision, and then doing and listening to that every day, because then you get a 6-minute audio or 20-minute audio, depending on which ones you have. Relationships are mirrors, not escapes. And your next business level requires a more emotional mastery. Truly believe that. So, and then obviously it came into action items. 1 20-minute silence practice daily, so that my Vision Espresso takes care of that. 1 intentional cross the threshold ritual when entering home. So like when you're in transitions, make sure that you are transitioning, not just going from one thing to the next. And then 1 piece of content made from your heart, not your strategy. And case in point, this is what it is. I didn't really have much of a strategy. I just wanted to get out and share exactly what was going on for me. So I kind of like asking a reflection quiz too, just to kind of keep my mind sparking and asking questions. What did I really get out of this mastermind? So I would ask you, what did you get out of this video? And put it down in the comments. If you're here, know that you're a tree, as we talk about a lot of times. Put a tree emoji. Let us know that you're here all the way to the end, because when you're a tree, you just grow. You keep on growing. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure and hit us up on visionespresso.co/quiz. All the links will be down below if you want to go get your vision quiz and understand where you are in terms of your clarity and where you are in terms of your vision. And then that quiz will actually help you amplify that vision very quickly. Like we've already tested with a couple people, and their vision score increases by about 40% just from like that 20-minute frame. So go ahead and check it out. Shoot me a message on Instagram when you get a chance, and we'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.